Welcome to Future Hidden Movie Gems. I am Jordan.
I am his wife.
Yes. And we are about to talk about Righteous Gemstones.
Righteous Gemstones, or as we often would say, unrighteous gemstones or hidden gems, or what's that other, the gem workness, the thing with Adam Sandler?
Oh, Uncut Gems?
Uncut Gems, Uncut Gemstones. The works. Lots of variations of the title.
Yes. I wanted to talk about this after the first season, after rewatching the first season with my wife, because I've seen it twice now, and it's amazing. But Tatiana was very adamant on watching the second season, so we could review that as well.
And I regret it.
Yeah, I was going to say, was it worth it?
No.
Was it worth it?
No, definitely the first season was a lot better than the second season. But we were just talking right now about how there's still a lot of great moments that we both enjoyed at different times too during the second season.
Yes. Well, I don't want to get right into the second. Let's start off with some good stuff. Okay, talking about how much I absolutely love the first season and highly recommend to everybody.
So good. Not everybody.
Okay, that's a lie, yes.
It's got some adult content.
Yeah, It's
all pretty humorous, but yeah, it just gets crude.
Yeah, very much so. They for some reason love to show those.
Yes, that's right. There is a lot of that in the first season. That's right.
Yeah. There's just one scene in the second season, and you were
like,
ah!
I know. I was like, I knew it's going to happen, but I still was so, taken aback.
So, well, just so I can get it off my chest, I'll just say the one nitpick about season 2 and the biggest thing we were bothered by is
Only
the muscle.
One?
Well, okay, lots of little things, but the biggest
nitpick.
thing was they spent so much time on the muscle guys. I just want to get that off my chest so I can focus on the good stuff.
There was not a point to any of it. We
were talking, it just seems so maybe they were trying to give, what's his name?
Adam Devine. Levine. No, Adam Devine.
The guy from Pitch Perfect.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were just were they trying, they just felt bad they didn't give him an arc in the first season or really any big part. I mean, it was his connection with his friend. I guess they did give him a good... Yeah, so
there had to have been some type of a requirement from his end of this is our theory. He must have said to them, I'll do this show only...
Well, my wife's theory.
Yeah. Okay, fine. He must have said, I'll do this show, or maybe he was his agent. Maybe he didn't care, but his agent was like, he'll do this show only if you give him a big storyline that takes up a significant amount of time. And I just feel so then the writers just didn't do their best writing because they were forced to create this story rather than the story coming to them organically.
Or maybe it's just, it was pitched and they just went with it. I just feel like they kind of dropped the ball. It was they should have, maybe ran it by a few more people and been yeah, maybe this isn't really working, and been let's try something different, because maybe when they first mentioned it, it sounded pretty funny on paper, but I'm sure as soon as they're filming it, they're like, oh no, what have we done?
Yeah.
Because it is not funny. I mean, maybe somebody will find it funny.
Maybe the Muscleman actors could have put on a more comedic performance. Maybe that was the downfall.
Yeah, well, because it turned more into a Lord of the Flies situation where it was strongest man now rules this group, but there was just really no weight to it at all. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Sorry, we just had to get that off our chest. But we really do love this show.
Yeah, going back to first season, amazing. So, loved the story arcs, Tatiana was crying at the end. Oh, yeah, got her good.
Yes, oh my gosh. Yeah, that's all I'll say.
Okay, but the parts that got you were when
you
saw their spirits in the crowd. And then the second one that got you, was...
the dad arriving in Guatemala.
Yeah, and so that's 3. And then the other part was when him and his son have a heart-to-heart, and he's talking to him, and he says, I've been, because he's you'll probably never hear me say this, but I'm sorry, I was wrong, and he finally admitted to his son. And then, Tatiana, do you want to say your 2 favorite parts?
Well, one of them was definitely that scene between BJ and Judy in the diner.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Right after they break up and before they get back together, it's the last episode or second to last episode, somewhere around there. We watched it. I found it on YouTube because we were talking about it later because I was just laughing the whole time. It was so hilarious to me. And then we found it on YouTube and rewatched it a few times as well there. It's just they do the characters are the way the script is written, they're giving a lot of descriptives to everything. It's not just at the end of the conversation BJ saying, I hope you enjoy the rest of your dinner. He says, I hope that you enjoy the rest of your Outback Steakhouse dinner. And she was like, I brought the rest of your belongings not just in my purse but in my pink suede purse or whatever. That was a cute little thing, but that wasn't even it was so hilarious because they were doing this emotional music and she's saying all these terrible things she did. I don't know how to describe it better because it's it's kind of adult content. She's talking about her one boyfriend, and the more she tells the story, it just gets worse and worse and worse. We love how BJ is like, wow, Judy, that's a lot to take in. And she's like, which part? All of it. And then luckily it works out. I love their dynamics. So many of their conversations I love, but that one was my favorite. That was my favorite part of the whole show. I also love that song, Holy Cow. Ain't Misbehaving. No. Dun, dun. It's just called Misbehaving. We've listened to that quite a bit, and it's been stuck in my head today. It gets stuck in my head a lot. But more than that, I just the writing and the performances. Oh my gosh, I don't know which one I like more. The jokes that they write or the way that these actors deliver it, like Danny McBride and his little subtle facial expressions and body movements when he's being sassy. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Judy, oh my gosh, I love her performance so much. Adam Devine, he's great. He's not my favorite, but Judy's my favorite, and then Danny McBride, and then Adam Devine.
Yeah, and I got on the Danny McBride train after Jared had he didn't recommend, but he did mention how much he loved Vice Principals. So I looked it up, and then after watching it, I was like, oh my gosh, I thought that was the greatest show ever. And then I went watching like everything he's done, Arizona, Eastbound and Down, and then Righteous Gemstones, and I was like, I love this guy's work. I was going to say, I don't know if I love, but I do enjoy his, because he produced the new Halloween movies. They worked together, him and Adam Green. Was it Adam Green? Is that his name?
That's one of the directors, whatever. Yeah.
And we've also noticed Jonah. No,
Jody. His name is Jody. Yeah,
Jody
it's
Hill.
A guy named Jody Hill.
Yeah, acts in the movie and also directs a couple episodes.
And they make his character kind of like the Jerry of Parks and Rec, where everyone is just like always criticizing him and like telling him to shut up, and he's like never allowed. It's really funny when you know that actually he's like their director, so it's kind of hilarious that he put himself in a role where everyone yells at him.
And you mentioned the humor with Danny. A lot of his humor is derived from being kind of like a child. Like he does a lot of things like it reminds me a lot of Will Ferrell and like Elf, just acting like a child but as an adult child. It's like a man baby. It's just very, very entertaining because a lot of he like pitches a fit like a little kid would when he gets upset, and they just do a lot of childish things, and
so childish.
It's extremely entertaining, and I love it. And then, so yeah, getting into my two favorite things. I don't feel like you see enough in today's movies or shows forgiving people, and so I like love that message at the end. Yes, it got me. Like first time I saw the show, I just bawled my eyes out at the end because I was like, you don't see that. Like, especially a person who's super flawed, has all these mistakes. It's such a beautiful ending to a total goofy and slash dramatic show, because there's more emotion to it than you'd expect from such a comedic show. And I think that's what got you so quick, is you're like, I was not expecting this, like such a dramatic ending to such a goofy show.
Yeah, well, dramatic in a good, positive, happy way. The whole show, I thought that all the writers and everyone was criticizing big churches, particularly Christianity, and I just like took it with a grain of salt. I was like, they're teasing, anyways. And then it gets to the end, I'm like, wait, I think the writers might actually be Christians, or at least they're like, I don't know, they're liking some elements of Christianity.
Danny did say he grew up, I think his parents were very Christian, and so he just understands that. And then he said he did some research and realized that a lot of churches today, to get the attention of younger kids, they kind of put on like, it feels like a concert almost.
Yeah.
Like I went to one church and it did feel like a concert. Like there was a band playing and there was like food and appetizers, and for the kids we got lots of Sunny Delight, and they were showing VeggieTales. But
there was some really substantive messages of Christianity in that last episode. So whether they are big into that or not, it was very, very respectful in regard to those substantive concepts that I like and that I just was not expecting. I wasn't expecting there to be such a positive, supportive message at the end, whether or not they actually support it or they're trying to promote it or anything like that. It still was like, wow, that's awesome, and I just had an awesome spiritual experience.
Yeah, he also said in the interview he wasn't by any means trying to like make the show like say anything bad about Christians. Like that was never his intent, he said.
Cool. Yeah, if anyone was wondering that, then that their doubt would go away with that last episode.
I'm not saying this is really for Christians, but I mean, because The Chosen is probably more up
their alley,
but because of some of the content But I personally love it. I think it's hilarious. I don't mind people poking fun at Christianity because I think it's okay to laugh at yourself once in a while.
Yeah, well, because they ended up, you get far enough in the season and you discover that these characters actually are genuine about their beliefs. They're super, super flawed in a lot of the way they act, so they're not really applying some of the things, but they're very genuine in their belief, and that was cool to discover that about those characters, because I was doubting that up until some point.
Yeah, and that's another thing I just love is you mentioned flawed. Like, some of my favorite shows are Cobra Kai. It's because we're following flawed characters, and I just feel like so many people are pointing the finger at others, like, oh, it's all their fault, it's all my parents' fault. It's in this show, it's like, no, each person is flawed, and each person should be accountable for their actions, however bad they be. And I love that, because I think so often we act kind of hide and mighty, and we hide behind our computers, and say horrible things about people. And I love that message of this show, is just like forgiveness can be for anybody who wants it.
Yeah. And in the second season, I really loved the line that Eli said. I think he was talking with Junior, and Junior said, well, you all high and mighty, whatever. And then Eli said, Junior, you have the devil in you, or something. And Junior said, what? And you don't? He's like, no, I have the devil in me too. But that doesn't mean the devil has to win or prevail or whatever.
Yeah, there was what we didn't mean to completely bash the second season, because we mentioned there are some good things too. Like, did love Baby Billy's story about always running from his wives and that fear of raising kids. And I really loved that arc, and him finally fessing up to it and meeting his kid, who is the kid from Home Alone.
Yeah, but I like what you said, the fessing up to it. That part was the biggest just change and good thing that he needed to do. He just was refusing to fess up to it for so long.
Yeah, because Adam from Pitch Perfect, like when he was on his knees praying for his dad, like it just wasn't as impactful as like them praying for Baby Billy in the first season, and then the bee comes and stings him. It kind of felt like the dots were connecting from the first season, and it kind of was wrapped up in a tight, good bow. And then this season just kind of felt disjointed, where there's just these random weird stories going on.
Yeah, and they kind of connected all together at the end, but there still just wasn't a lot of weight in that last episode for me. I don't know. It's like the story struggled, but the jokes, there were still a lot of great jokes. But like you said, the story of Baby Billy was a good story. There were some of the sub-stories were well written.
Yeah, and I love the reporter. Like, he's such a great actor, and I was excited to see more of that, but they just didn't spend a whole lot of time on it. Like, I just felt like they spent too much time on a bunch of things that I'm like, I just did not care for John Goodman.
Oh, yeah.
Is that his name?
John Goodman, Eli.
Yeah, his backstory, and
Junior.
Yeah, Junior. Oh my gosh. He's such a sleazebag, and I don't know. I just didn't really care for that story, or the Muscle Men. Like, and they spent so much time on that, and then Baby Billy and his awesome story only got a little bit of time, and then the reporter. Oh gosh, it was just
such a little time.
Yeah, it's just the beginning and the very end, and I was like, these are the most interesting parts. Like, why are we spending so much time on these other side stories? It was like all the middle of this series was all that. It was just filler. And then the beginning and end was really good.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was so weird. Because the beginning and end felt a lot more like the first season. I just felt like there's too much going on. But
also, we got sidetracked. You haven't said your second favorite thing.
Well, the whole show, I guess I mentioned Danny McBride. I just love him so much. I love the show. If, inappropriate stuff doesn't bother you, and you don't mind if people are poking fun at your religion or the people that run it. I don't really think of it as the way my church is run.
Right. Some people would because of all the money that our church has, but it's so different from my perspective.
Yeah. There's a scene I love in Brickleberry. He meets the Pope, and he's like, it's always been about the money. And then he starts dancing, and then all these girls come in and start dancing. They're twerking, and they're going, ooh, money, 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 ooh, money, money. And so me and Nick, all the time when we talk about religion, we always go, it's always been about the money. I love that.
That's funny. It's playful.
Yes. But, we are very religious, and so,
and we enjoyed it. So,
yeah.
But I don't know. I can see religious people getting offended and not liking it.
Yes.
So I don't know if I'd recommend it to everyone.
People are already bothered by the stuff going on behind the scenes of The Chosen, like we were hearing
Oh,
about.
yeah, we were hearing about some drama just with, like, the producer and his statements to the press. But...
Well, because of the Evangelicus, writer, and then working with LDS members, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and it's just this interesting, like, thing going on behind the scenes. Not necessarily the show, because the show's getting a lot of good praise.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting. It's like, I mean, they're bothered by the fact that we call it the same Jesus.
Yeah.
Which is just so funny to me, because
Yeah.
I watched this movie and it's like, I think even this show, like, they're all worshiping the same God. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and also the same Jesus.
Yeah.
In the first season, like the main adversary or whatever, what's that called in a story where you have the conflict, I guess, what came from Gideon, the son. That was, like, so well done, just like discovering bit by bit about Gideon and his relationship with his dad. And you don't even know at the beginning that he's a part of the whole, like, those crazy guys that went and tried to blackmail Jesse. But yeah, like, forgot about that because the villains in this most recent episode, there were several, and it's been a while since that first season. But that, I just felt like that was really cool to see Jesse and Gideon. As we know, as Jordan said, I cried, but I really liked Jesse and his son Gideon's kind of redemption with each other, or reunification and healing and rebonding and all that.
Oh, I guess the scene that really made me laugh really hard was the scene where he's like arguing with his wife after he's finally confessed, and she's throwing dishes at him, and then he's like fighting with her, and then she walks into the back room, and all of a sudden he sees all the guns, and then he's like, oh, shoot, and then he's like running through the field, and then she shoots him in the butt.
Yeah. I was thinking of that part too, the exact moment that you started to talk about it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That just killed me. And then, and then the second part that probably my two favorite scenes, and then my second one is the scene where she goes, so it's the scene before the diner where they go, BJ and what's the girl?
Judy.
BJ and Judy talk, is when she goes to meet BJ, and he's like, I'm a changed man, and then he turns, and then you see like a little diamond earring glisten.
Yes.
And
but it was a slow turn of his head.
Yeah, it was a slow turn. Beautiful.
And he was being so sassy. It was, oh my gosh.
So funny.
I feel like ever since that moment, you saw more of like that side of BJ, and that actor just had so much fun with that and did such a good job.
Yeah, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, I'd feel really bad because Danny McBride brought on Judy from...
The actress that plays Judy, or the director Judy Hill?
No, the
actress that plays Judy.
Yeah, the actress that plays Judy, to help write the show for Righteous Gemstones, because they worked really well together on Vice Principals, and then they worked together. I wonder if she wrote the Muscle Guys. Hopefully not.
Well, now I want to confirm that she actually was a writer, because I might have seen Judy Hill and thought her. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, Eddie or Edie Patterson. Why would you think that she's the one that wrote the Muscle Guys?
No, I'm not blaming it on her. I'm just saying.
Okay.
And I'm not saying like that she made it worse. I was just saying like he brought on some other writers. That's all. So it flowed really well in Vice Principals. I'm just saying, when you bring on other writers, sometimes they toss out ideas, and maybe it was his idea, and
But the more writers you have, the more filters you have too. Like, right, if someone is listed as someone that wrote I only know this because of the Office Ladies podcast.
But that's also a problem, is it can become a jumbled mess, because
Yes.
you got too many ideas and none of them connect.
Yeah,
it's just like, I got this funny idea, and it's like, okay, but how do we make this connect? So they're trying to like shoehorn it in together.
But I just know that at least the way The Office did it, like, it was just really helpful to have a lot of writers, because that would help them filter out the bad ideas. And the editors were really good too, because the editors would see if certain parts weren't as good and they'd cut that out. That's different than this. If they write the Muscle Man thing, they're not going to just cut out the Muscle Man thing. Like, the editors wouldn't have the permission to do that. But it can be helpful to have a lot of writers, is all I'm saying. But you're right, if they don't do it well, if they don't know how to handle that many writers, then they might feel obligated to keep in stories that certain writers wrote, just because it's like they haven't had time. I don't know what the reason would be, but yeah, they shouldn't do that. They should make it more of like a opportunity to make sure the best idea prevails.
I'm not blaming Eddie.
Okay, good. I have no idea why you would assume that she might have written the part that we don't like. Is it because she's a woman? You misogynist
Yes.
man?
I wanted you to think that. Yes. No, obviously not. It's just, I'm just saying, based on the other two shows I've seen of his, Eastbound Down and vice principals, it flows differently. And then you bring on all these other writers, and I'm saying they'll start to add things in that they're like, oh, this is really funny, we need this, and then it suddenly turns into this thing. But who knows, it could have been his idea. So, but he just didn't work it into the story very well.
Yeah, maybe we should find some interviews or something where if anyone's asking him, like, what's the point of the Muscle Man stuff, or who wrote that idea? Sometimes people talk about that thing, like who was the main creator. Whose brainchild was it?
I don't know, maybe there's some...
The brainchild of whom, grammar?
Maybe there's somebody that actually liked that story. I don't know, but just
yeah,
didn't
if
work.
They do, we'd love to learn from you what it is about, like why it was essential. I mean, okay, so in the last episode, there is an attempt to tie it all together, and that's that Adam Devine has this realization that, this whole time I was neglecting the idea of being a youth pastor, and look at this, I can combine these two things of having an army and also being the youth pastor, and now I have the children working out and becoming muscle men that are willing to listen to me, which
also made me feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah, like after that scene, I was just like, what was up with the writing for this character this season and the stories surrounding the character? I don't know. It didn't work. In my opinion, we keep leaving it on this negative note. We keep going back to our hatred of the Muscle Men storyline.
Well, it's because we just finished season 2. And I told you we should have reviewed it after season 1.
You are correct, sir.
Because I knew I had a feeling, I'm like, this is going to leave a bad taste in our mouths, because we came off on such a high from the first season, and you were so happy and so excited to watch the second season, just like Ted Lasso. And it's just like the second season didn't have that weight like it did in the first. We didn't finish the second season, so maybe we'll change our minds. But I got a feeling. Yeah, we got to
give it a shot.
I don't know. After watching 3 episodes, you kind of get a feel for how the rest of it's going.
Here's my question for you. If Righteous Gemstones does come out with a 3rd season, like they say they're going to, would you watch it? Because I'm down.
I don't know. I mean, if you say we are going to watch it, we'll watch it. But...
I'm not the only one in charge of what we watch.
I'm just saying I won't say no, but
if you'll give it a shot, but then if the first episode or 2 is bad, you'll probably be like, no.
Well, if it's anything like season 2, I'm not. I mean, I'm sure just like season 2, there will be parts I enjoy. Like I still enjoyed parts from season 2.
Yeah.
It's not like I didn't like it. It's just there's a lot that I was like, oh boy, they better pick up something.
Yeah. I want to go rewatch my favorite scene now at the diner with BJ and Jody.
I just bought on vinyl record the Righteous Gemstones because Waxwork put out a really cool limited edition art cover, and I'm obviously obsessed with that song, and I downloaded and re-listened to it a billion times in the car, misbehaving.
Yeah.
Both the child version and then them as adults.
Yeah. I don't know which one I like better. At first I thought I liked the child version better, but now I think I like the adult version better, which is so cool. They got the actors playing Amy Lee is main singer of Sugarland, apparently. She's a real country singer.
Oh, I didn't know she's a real country singer.
Yeah, that's a pretty popular band. Am I even saying it right? Sugarland? I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm not.
Well, and then they brought on Jonah Brother.
Oh, yeah, they did.
In season 2.
And you confirmed it really was him.
Yeah, because Tatiana's like, I don't think that's him.
Because they kept putting him in glasses and a hat. I was like, that has all the telltale signs of this is a lookalike that they don't want to fully expose as being a lookalike. But you're right. It really was him. He just wanted to wear that hat and sunglasses all the time.
Yeah, Danny McBride, I love you, and I will watch everything you do. Oh my gosh. I mean, I love you in Mitchell's vs. the Machines. Everything gets a little bit...
He wrote Mitchell's vs. the Machines?
No. I said he was in it.
Oh, he was in it?
Yeah, he's the dad.
Oh, we loved that one.
Yeah, he's
so
just...
good.
He is so funny. I loved him in Tropic Thunder. He's just, when he's in This Is the End, he was the best part of that movie. He adds such fun flavor to it. Pineapple Express, he had the best scene in that movie where they're fighting. I just love him so much. He is so funny to me. I just think he's hilarious.
Yeah.
So easily my most favorite part of this show.
His role in this show plus his role in Vice Principals, there have been so many times when I'm shaking my head and so mad at him, but that's because of what he's saying. It doesn't mean that he's not doing it so well.
Wait, what you should have said is, oh wait, can I speak?
Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. That was one of the early episodes of the first season where his wife is like, oh wait, babe, can I speak now?
But it was what they said before that. She said something along...
She said something about no, us women are strong and independent and vocal or something. But right before she was about to say that, she realized oh wait, I forgot to ask my husband permission. And she asks her husband permission to speak. It's so good. So clever.
Yeah.
Okay. It was great. Yeah, love it. Love humor. It was good humor.
Yeah, and for people that are sensitive to inappropriate things, at Angel, you can watch it edited.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's on there, but if it is, check it out.
Oh, yeah.
Peace.
Bye.